Okay, guys, we're good to go? How's everyone doing? Okay, well, thanks for having us. Thank you for having us, Dr. Kakmak, and all the professors who got the word out, and hopefully we'll make this worth your while. So, a couple of introductions before we get started. My name's Rashad Bajwa. I'm the president of Domain Computer Services, but in particular for today, I'm also one of the founders of Intern IT, which is a program that we started 2 years ago with Mercer County Community College, and now we're starting it with you guys at Middlesex as well. On my right here is Lauren Fisher, who is the service manager for Intern IT, basically the manager for the Intern IT program. Michelle Bajwa is one of the co-founders in Domain, also my wife. And Chris is also one of the founders of Intern IT and the director of engineering for Domain Computer Services. So that's a lot of different things. Later on, I'll explain to you exactly how everything kind of fits together. Later on, we also have two of the folks who are in the Intern IT program currently with Mercer County Community College. They're going to be coming in as well to share with you what their experience is, so that way you guys can get an idea of what the real world experience is like. So that's us. I want to just get a quick intro from you guys as to, not individually one by one right now, we'll do that later, but what your program of study is or what your interest area is, because Intern IT has two different programs. One is an information technology program that leads people into a career in IT, infrastructure, technology, information technology, in information systems management. Basically, it's IT service desk career track. And then we have a separate program that is for digital marketing, meaning this is for folks who are familiar with SEO, social media marketing, website design, analytics, things along those lines. So two separate programs, both related to technology, obviously, but one is more on infrastructure, computers, servers, networking. The other is on digital marketing, graphic design, websites, things along those lines. So who here is focused on information systems IT? If you could raise your hand. Okay. Who here is focused on digital marketing, website design? Okay. Okay, good. Anyone who crosses both? Oh, look, there we go. See, now those are true techies. True techies. Okay, no, that's good. So just keep that in mind, though, because if you guys do find what we're going to be talking about interesting, we want to know from you what your interest level is in either one of those career tracks. Okay? So I'm going to tell you a little bit of a kind of a story of the background. Then my partners here are going to give you a little bit of intro from themselves as well. We have a little quick video where, depending on the audio, hopefully you guys will be able to hear it. We'll figure it out. It's a story from one of the interns at the Mercer County program. So let me give you the background. So the background is going to start with Intern IT. So Intern IT only started 2 years ago. But the parent company, or the sister company, Domain Computer Services, was started by me and Michelle 21 years ago. And the reason I'm going to share the story of Domain Computer Services with you guys is because it's actually very relevant. It's relevant to internships, and it's relevant to how to get a career in IT and how to get your foot on that first rung of the ladder in a career in IT. So 21 years ago, both me and Michelle were seniors at Rutgers. I know I look a lot older than Michelle, but we're actually the same age. So 21 years ago, we were seniors at Rutgers, and the plan was that we were going to go to law school. And so I was a philosophy and political science major, Michelle was an English major, and we were both going to go into law. And back then, they didn't have information technology majors or information systems majors. No one knew what SEO was, because SEO didn't exist back then. We actually got our start because back in 1997, 21 years ago, there was this new thing called the internet that was just coming out. And so it was a really good time to get into technology, but we didn't know it. Luckily for me, I had an internship. Even though I was going to go to law school, I had an internship in what was IT. They didn't call it IT back then. Back then it was just computers. So I had an internship at Novo Nordisk Pharmaceuticals, which some of you may be aware of. It's a large pharmaceutical company down in Princeton. Back then, though, it didn't have the 2,000 people in Princeton that it has right now. Back then, there was only 100 people. And that 100 people had 2 people that worked on computers. One salaried person, and then one college intern, and that was me. So I helped maintain the information technology before it was called information technology for Novo Nordisk back then. And so I started getting good with computers. But the only reason I got that internship is because I had had a job at Circuit City, which some of you may be aware of. It's out of business now, right? Do any of you know Circuit City? Oh, good, okay. So it was around for a while. So it died, kind of like with the Wiz. It was the Wiz and Circuit City back then. So I had a job selling computers at Circuit City, so I got good, I got good with computers. I started understanding how they worked. And the only reason I got that job is because I had started putting together my own computers when I was a teenager because of gaming. I was into games. I think that might be a similar story to a lot of you as to how people get involved in technology. So think about this. All these years later, it got started because I was just dabbling in computers. Somebody gave me an opportunity to get an internship, and now, obviously, a long career in technology has come from that. So the hope is there might be a similar path for you guys as well. So I got this internship, and I was going to Rutgers, and the internship was in Princeton. So I would drive back and forth constantly on Route 1. And so I felt like I was very successful, so I went out and I got at that time, what I thought was a really cool car. It was a Camaro Z28, okay? It used to be a really cool car. Do they? I don't even know if they even make it anymore. Yeah, dead silence. Everyone's like, what the hell is that? Yeah, so I had a Camaro Z28, and so I'm driving back and forth on Route 1, and as some of you who may be familiar with the area, right in front of Cook Campus, you know where it turns into like a highway, Route 1? I assumed it's 55 miles per hour. Unbeknownst to me, it was 50 miles per hour speed limit, and I now was driving this car at 65 miles per hour, and I got pulled over in North Brunswick. And I got a speeding ticket. So Michelle had a much more traditional path towards law school, and she was working at a law firm. And so I was complaining politely, saying what I was doing, but let's say I was not happy about this ticket. And I felt like they were scanning. Like, normally you drive 65, that should be safe because it's a highway, but it was 50 miles per hour, and I got this ticket. So I'm complaining at our law firm, and the lawyers say, well, Michelle tells us, you're like this computer guy. What about we work out a deal? You kind of bring here what you're learning at your internship. Maybe you can do something for us, and we can take care of that ticket. No problem. I know the North Brunswick prosecutor. No big deal. Like, I'll represent you, and it's a non-issue. So I said, fantastic. This is great, because even back then, it was like $700 to get an attorney to represent you and get off of a speeding ticket. So I started doing some work for them, and I told them, I said, there's this new thing called the internet. And I'm going to get you onto the internet, and you'll be able to do legal research. Because back then, they had to pass around a CD. It wasn't even a DVD back then. It was a CD from computer to computer to do like LexisNexis, Westlaw research and stuff like that. So they said, cool. I had a deal, and that next weekend, I came in while they were out of the office, and I started running cable through the drop ceiling, down the walls, and I networked their computers, because this is all what I had learned at the internship. So they come in the next week. By the way, they had also, I didn't even realize it at the time, they had been passing around floppy disks to share files, because they didn't have a network. But now, because I put in a network for them, they were all able to share one modem, because back then there was only modems. There's no Comcast or Fios, so none of that. One modem, and I was able to get all of their computers onto the internet, as well as they were now able to share files electronically without having to walk around with floppy disks. I didn't realize it at the time, but I literally blew their mind. Like, this was amazing to them. It did not occur to me how significant a change technology could make on this law firm. And so I think I probably undervalued how much I did for them. I probably could have charged them a lot more than $700. But anyway, I was happy. They're going to take care of the ticket, so on and so forth. A couple of weeks later, I get a call from another law firm saying, because by the way, lawyers love to brag. So they're at court and they love to brag about, whatever their car, their this. But now they were bragging about the smart computer guy that they had. And so they bragged to some other attorney, and the attorney now says, I've heard what you've done for this other firm. And this firm, by the way, was in East Brunswick. I've heard what you've done for this other firm. Can you do the same thing for us? Now, I only had one speeding ticket. So I quickly researched how much professionals charge for this sort of service. And I kind of figured out that they were charging like $60 an hour, $60 an hour back then for this sort of professional service. So I go in, I'm like, okay, I'm going to undercut the market. I'm coming in at $40 an hour. So I come in at $40 an hour. I go to CDW. I find some server that this new law firm, and the first law firm was very small, but now this one was bigger. I come in, $20,000 project, all of this $40 an hour kind of consulting to get everything networked. They barely looked at me and just signed off on it and said, when can you do this? And my jaw dropped. So I go back to Michelle, because remember, Michelle had worked in that first law firm. She's now figuring out how to use this network to help customize their environment and help with the networking of their legal practices. And we start talking, and we start talking, and then we started this company called Domain Computer Services. The point was, we started having more and more people referred to us. By the time my ticket came up, the North Brunswick prosecutor was already my client. I didn't even need these guys. It ended up not even being an issue. So the reason I'm sharing this story with you is, well, number one, an internship is directly tied to this. And I would not have had the opportunities that I had if somebody had not given me the opportunity to start my career in IT. Because otherwise, frankly, it's really tough to get into IT, because they weren't teaching the skills that I used in that law firm. They weren't teaching that in college. The only way to learn it was on the job. And that's still a lot of that still applies to this day. So that's one part of the story that's, I think, relevant to you guys. The other key part is this. It's identifying opportunity. You know, there was an opportunity that presented itself. Number one, it was the internship. Speeding ticket was not a good opportunity. That was one that, but it led to an opportunity to create these solutions for the law firm, and I had no idea where it would go, but it ended up leading to a career in IT. So I want to share that with you guys. I want to give you guys the opportunity to get that first leg on that rung, on that first ladder into a career in IT. And that's really what the Intern IT program is about. So we started the program 2 years ago, and essentially what it is paid internships while you get credit at college, and then that turns into a potential career in IT going forward. It's a paid job, though. So this means you are expected to interview, produce, and carry yourself just like somebody who is working a regular job, because that's exactly what it is. At Mercer, we've told them very clearly, these are paid roles where you are executing and expected to meet certain thresholds and standards. Otherwise, we can't invest in that sort of development and growth. So what are we looking for? We're looking for folks who have a curiosity, an interest in technology, or in marketing or digital marketing. This doesn't mean that you have to have those skills beforehand. That's what we're here for. We're here to give you those skills. But the most important thing is you have to be teachable. You have to be curious, and you have to be teachable. Teachable means that when we tell you what you need to work on, you listen, you execute on it. You don't get into a debate with us about why you're right. If you already know how to do this, you don't need us. So our job is to give you the skills so that way we can give you a job going forward, or make you powerful enough that we or anyone else in the IT industry would be happy to hire you in that role. Because that's really the fundamental problem that we're also trying to solve, which is right now in information technology, in digital marketing in particular, there is a negative unemployment rate. We can't find people to fill the jobs that are available, even though there's so many people looking for jobs. And the kind of the split between the two is a skills gap. And that's what Intern IT is trying to solve. We are fulfilling that skills gap, filling that skills gap by giving you guys the skills so that way we can hire you or other employers can hire you. Is there a guaranteed job at the end? No, absolutely not. If you're really good, you will have people fighting over hiring you. If you are not that good, you know, it's the open marketplace. You will potentially struggle. But the beauty is you will be entering a field where that is the exception, not the norm. You got to work really hard to not get a job in IT once you have the skills, because the jobs are everywhere. But it's about getting those skills. So with that being said, I'm going to play a little video for you about Anthony Gatto. Anthony Gatto was with our first cohort at Mercer County Community College, which, by the way, that first cohort from Mercer County Community College, 100% employed, 100% salaried and benefits. They were fantastic. So we don't expect that we're going to have a 100% hit rate going forward. I mean, that's just unreasonable. But we had a very good result with them. We told the first cohort, we said, you got a lot riding on your shoulders because you can't screw this up. If you screw this up, no one's going to want to do this program again. No one's going to want to invest in this. So you have no option of sucking. And you guys would only be the fourth or fifth cohort. So the same thing applies. Meaning there's not a lot of folks. Domain never looked at community colleges before. We always required a 4-year degree. And we realized that we were missing the boat. There was so much exceptional talent in our backyard that just because we thought we needed this 4-year degree, we were missing that opportunity. And so we want to give that opportunity so that way those who are exceptional, those who have what it takes to deliver, have that opportunity to get on into a career ladder in IT. So let me start playing this, and then hopefully it's loud enough. If you guys can't hear it at all, we'll just go to plan B. Okay, so he's calling it Domain Tech Academy. That's what we called ourselves, and then we changed the name to Intern IT. So Intern IT, so he is one of the folks in the first class of Intern IT. Now he loves computers. He loves computers way more than I do. So you know, if you have that sort of love of computers, fantastic. We want you. But even if you don't love them that much, it's okay. But you have to have a curiosity, at least, about technology. And most importantly, you got to be willing to work hard. We can't want this more than you. And so those of you that take that opportunity, raise your hand, and we'll kind of talk a little bit more about what the process is like to apply and get into the program. We are going to expect a lot from you, and in return, you're going to get a lot as well. So with that, I'm going to start handing off to some of the other folks here, and they'll share with you a little bit more details about the program, tell them a little bit about yourselves, and then later on we have Nia and Matt here as well. They'll tell you a little bit about their experience with the program. So, Lauren.
Afternoon, everyone. So my stories aren't nearly as entertaining as that. I got my love for IT and technology back in the early 90s playing Oregon Trail on a Commodore 64 computer. For those of you who don't know, that's a miserable experience. I've been with Domain 7 years now. I started out just like most people do in IT. I started out on the help desk, resetting passwords, helping people with their Outlook, my email's not working, my computer's running slow. And then I progressed from there. I really started to hit my stride. Then I went into a network administration role. So I started getting out to the client sites and seeing all different verticals, law, medical, financial, all these different networks and topologies. Things that I never thought I would get to see because I always envisioned myself in IT at just one place. Coming out, going into one network, make that network your own. But I got exposed to so much more. I got exposed to all these different configurations, and it really broadened my horizon as a technical professional. Once I went down the path of network admin, worked up, network administration team lead, into what's called the VCIO, Virtual Chief Information Officer. So helping companies now, I went from the guy who was fixing the Outlook issues and changing passwords to the guy that's now helping these companies align their business strategies with their technological needs and kind of guiding their business into the modern age and improving their efficiencies. But you know what? That wasn't really what I loved. I was okay at it. I was pretty decent at it. But I love developing people. That was actually probably the highlight of the network administration role, was when I moved up into that team lead position and got to see the impact that I had on developing some of the more junior staff members. So once I kind of transitioned myself away from the VCIO role, I took over managing the intern IT program. And this has been the most gratifying position I've had thus far in my IT career. I get to work with some exceptional young minds that just have a genuine thirst for knowledge and want to get better every day. So it certainly makes my job a lot easier, kind of guiding them down that path. But it's not just the technical portion, because you can go read that in a book. You can go do that in a lab. It's the soft skills. That's why we're going to put you guys through an interview process. You're going to be exposed to the same interview process that we would put a network administrator through. And that's just nothing more than to get you that initial experience. It's supposed to be a full experience, a full job experience. So you're going to interview. I encourage all of you, if you don't have a resume, you know, if you have resources at the Writing Center, some of your professors, get some tips. If you want to throw a cover letter in there, remember, there's a large number of you in here. We're not taking the entire room on as interns. So just like with any job, you have to stand out. You have to be a reason for us to say, okay, let's bring them in. Let's do a phone screen now. Let's see what they're like. So definitely make sure your resumes are on point. Make sure the cover letters are there as well. As Rashad said, with the job experience, listen, if you've never held an IT position, that's kind of expected. That's why you're applying for an internship. That's the first step in any position, is an intern. But show us on there. Feel free to list your activities. If you game, if you're in the World of Warcraft or Fortnite or whatever the newest popular game is, throw it on there. If you tinker with your home network and you've set up your wireless network at home, put that on there in addition to whatever jobs you've held in the past, because that is going to make you stand out a bit. The last thing I'm going to say is this is a golden opportunity to really get exposed, like I said, to multiple facets of IT. So Anthony Gatto has been with us now almost 2 years. Yeah. He started out sitting just like you guys were, listening to us ramble on and on. He started out on service desk. That wasn't enough for him. Then he was like, you know what? I really have an interest in projects. So he started working with our projects team, started deploying servers, installing network switches, installing firewalls. That wasn't enough for him. Then he's like, I want to see what network administration's like. Now he spends most of his time in and out of the office, going to client sites, keeping them up and running. And we're talking some very large, complex networks. 2 years ago, he was sitting where you guys were. So the opportunity is definitely there. After everyone's done, we'll do some one-on-ones, talk to us. For resumes and whatnot, I brought a stack of business cards. Grab one on your way out and email me your cover letters and resumes directly. Pass it off to Matt.
Okay, so Matt is in our third cohort, I think, of intern IT. So share with everyone what you guys do and what your experience has been like.
Yeah, so my name is Matt, and like Lauren said, where you're sitting, I was in the same spot a year ago. And since then, I've learned how to pretty much fix any computer stuff in a business world. A year ago, I was working at a Polish bakery. I was somewhat of a manager. I did know a little about computers, but a year later now, I've learned so much. This is a golden opportunity, and domain does want you to do really well, and if you get in, this will be a really good job for you.
And by the way, Matt is also now finishing his degree.
Correct.
So he's finishing his 4-year program at another school while continuing to work in the intern IT program. Nia? So Nia's from our digital marketing side. So Nia, what do you do for us?
Hello. So mainly what I've been doing is working on websites using HTML, CSS, and doing back-end SEO work for clients that we take on, and also what we also do is email marketing, social media for other clients as well as for Domain. I've been here, I think, about 5 months, and honestly, I didn't really have any knowledge for email marketing or social media marketing, and I've learned a lot, and I've been pushing out the emails every week for Domain, and we're starting to do that for other clients as well. So it is a really good learning experience, and you will learn a lot, and they're very patient, so don't be too scared to ask questions if you're not afraid, because I've asked a lot of questions to my supervisor, and she's always willing to help me, so it's definitely a good learning experience.
Well, I just want to say that this is by far, one of the most exciting things that we're doing at Domain right now. When we've been doing for the last 2 years, and like Rashad said, the first class, as we call it, around 2 years ago, we hired all of them. So this is a real job. You're getting benefits. You're getting paid when you actually get hired. So go for it. There's nothing to lose. That's simple.
Okay, so I guess I'll close. Hello, everyone. First of all, I'm very, very excited to see the number of females in the room. Wow, this is so exciting. So please, definitely don't be discouraged by, the field that's out there. The only way that we're going to break in is if you just, put your head down and take that dive. So it is not too scary, I promise you. I don't deal with the interns on a daily basis. I'm kind of in the back end. I do payroll and HR, but I will tell you that my favorite part of the day is when I get an email from an intern. And it shows that they're integrated into our process. Nia sent me an email recently about our Ethnic Food Day that's coming up. So as you can see, Domain is the United Nations. I'm Chinese American. Rashad is Pakistani American. We have children that are Pakinese. Chris is Polish American. Lauren is everything American. Same with Nia. Same with our Matt over there. So we are looking for a diversity. We're looking for people who are energized, who have energy, who are kind of excited about making a change, really getting deep into the field. We're looking for people who have charisma when they're working with others. As technologists, we are translators. We're translators of a world where people are very tentative. My parents still ask me, I don't know how to, use Waze. I don't understand how to put in the destinations. They love that we are able to translate that for them. And so at Domain and Intern IT, we are in the business of creating translators. We want people who can be experts in technology, but who can look at any person, relate to them, and say, okay, you know what, I can help you, and this is how we're gonna do it. Let's do this together. So if you're into finding solutions, any type of solution when it comes to technology, show us your passion. Email Lauren, and he will, if you've got it, he will help you. So thanks for coming, guys, and please feel free to come up to us and give us your resumes.
Okay, so let me give you a couple more details, like logistics of how this works. Yes?
Just one thing I'd like to share with everybody here. Middlesex has a very nice career services office over in West Hall. There are people there that will help you with the resumes and the cover letters. We also have a substantial content on the college website that will guide you with some of that for those of you who want to get started on that. Okay, so maybe that would help you get started with moving forward to get the resumes in.
You just stole my line.
Oh, I'm sorry. We should have talked ahead of time. I'm sorry.
First of being short.
Okay, good. So you have some assistance. You have some assistance. Anything else to add on that?
No, but Miss Charlotte is waiting for you to work with her, especially computer science and business students. So you just let us know, and we will all help you. Like at some point, if there are two products, we will be able to help you as well.
Okay, so some more of the details about exactly the brass tacks of how the program works. So it is a paid job. Right out of the gate, on day one, it starts at $15 an hour, 15, $15 an hour, okay? And We understand that some of you are going to have quite a bit of value to provide on close to day one. Some of you are just going to be hungry and ready to learn. But that's okay. That's the process. Our process is to get you up to speed. And the speed at which you get up to speed is all about you. And you staying in the program and continuing up that career ladder is a function of how hard you work at it. You know, the biggest indicators of success for us, one of them is grit. And that is just a willingness, even if you don't understand something right now, to keep moving forward, keep pushing at it, keep learning. You have to want this as much, if not more than us. We can't want this for you more than you want it for yourself. Your professors can't want it for you more than you want it for yourself. The other is something that I had brought up before, which is recognize opportunity. One of the biggest distinctions that we've seen actually in our work at Mercer, and I'm assuming the same thing might apply at Middlesex, is not that there isn't talent. There's plenty of talent here. It's just that tenacity to want to put up your hand, to want to take a little time to put together a resume, to go through the work, to recognize opportunity and then grab it. That is really one of the biggest distinctions between those that succeed and those that don't. The vast majority of those that don't, it's not because they don't have the capacity to do it, it's just they don't want it bad enough, or they don't want to try hard enough to make themselves do it. And then life passes them by. And then they will continue not following their dreams for their entire life because it was just too much trouble. So my big advice to you would be raise up your hand. You know, if you need assistance, yeah, there we go. He's already raising up his hand. Raise up your hand. Put yourself out there. Take the time to put together a resume, even if you don't have one. I know it's trouble, but there's very few things in this life that are worth it that don't require a little bit of trouble, and you got to put yourself out there. So please, if you have an inclination towards technology, and if you have that kind of that grit and that hunger, please put together that resume. So the next step of the process would be exactly as they indicated, which is put together a resume and send it out to us. Send us a cover letter too. That'd be fantastic if this is something that's interesting to you. As I said, you have to be more hungry for this than us. And you have to be more hungry than the other people who are hungry for this. So put yourself out there. Once we get the resume, if we feel like there is a good fit, then you will be invited to have a telephone conversation with us. Basically a telephone conversation just to get to know you a little bit better. Those of you at that time who feel like it might be a good fit for us, and so by the way, we're looking for folks that can give us at least 20 hours, preferably 25 hours, but at least 20 hours per week to work with us. Because if your class schedule right now, and I understand this semester is almost ending, so we understand that maybe it's next, or over winter break is fantastic to start, but maybe it's next semester when you begin. We have to work out details about credits and things like that. I mean, we'll figure that out, but I'm sure you'll be able to get some sort of externship credits for this as well, so maybe it can take the place of a class or something along those lines. But we want folks that have, yeah?
We have 2 courses in place already, CSE 205, CSE 206.
Okay, perfect.
That can be applied as internships and...
Excellent. So how many credits is that?
That'll be 3 credits each.
Okay, good. So hopefully this should be able to displace maybe some other coursework, so that way you have more time to work with us. The main facilities, for right now, at Mercer we actually have a thing on campus there, but here we don't yet. The main facilities are in Cranberry, New Jersey, which if you're familiar with is literally 15 minutes down the road. So you would be going there 20 to 25 hours per week, and you would be paired with mentors. A maximum ratio of 3 interns to 1 mentor, and that mentor would then expose you to real life, real world service desk and IT work. And you are going to work side by side with them, where you will work through that entire process of first being a novice, then an apprentice, and then at some point you'll become a journeyman where you'll know how to do this stuff yourself. And then hopefully that's when we can bring you on board for a full-time career. So 20 to 25 hours per week, you get credits, you get paid, and the program, the other common question is, so how long does this last? Well, it's a job. So we'll hire you for the rest of your life if you're good. Okay? If you suck, we won't hire you at all. I mean, that's the way the world works. You know, there's no grants that we're getting to kind of dole out. This is not charity. This is straight up, you're doing hard work for us, for our clients. They're paying us. That continues and gives us the ability to continue to hire you and pay you more over time. I mean, that's the way the world works. If you suck, you get fired. If you're good, you get hired. If you're really good, we got to pay you whatever you're worth. And IT, digital marketing, your worth can be a lot because these are high in-demand skills. So if you're really good, if we've invested in you and we've developed those skills, the last thing we want to see is that just walk out the door. We need to pay you to keep you around, or you'll be able to obviously find opportunities in the marketplace. So after that, obviously there's an interview process, and then we need references. So get to know your professors well. If you're because you know, we understand that a lot of you may not have a lot of job history right now, so you may not have references of previous work. And also, if you worked at in retail or food service or something like that, don't think we don't care about that. We love that. It shows us that you were hungry for work early, that you know how to work. This isn't mom or dad pushing you out the door saying make some money. This is you have a hunger for work. And customer service skills, oh my God, that's gold. Okay, now if you have some technology work, let us know as well. But if the technology, you know, I think you got it from Anthony Gatto. He worked at a grocery store. His technology experience was dabbling at home with computer stuff and like fixing his friends' computers and things along those lines. If that sounds like what you guys do, let us know that too. Now that may not show up on a resume very clearly, but communicate that to as well as you can, and that's what a cover letter is fantastic for. And then references. Your professors, if your professors think you suck, don't ask them for a reference. Okay? But then there better be somebody else who thinks you're good. Because if no one else thinks you're good except for you, we got a problem. Right? That's called ego. What you think of yourself is called ego. What other people think of you is called reputation. Ego does not get you a job. Ego does not give you a raise. Ego does not promote you. Ego does not pay your bills. Reputation does. Okay? And it starts with your professors. So do your homework. Turn your homework in time. Yeah. So then we need references. And as I said, professors are a fantastic source of references, or people that you've worked with, obviously jobs that you've had in the past. Anthony, the gentleman that hired him in the grocery store, was a reference for him. You know, does he show up on time? Yeah, that's really important. Don't take that for granted. And the skills that we're going to give you, obviously we're going to teach you tech. But I'll be honest with you, the tech is the easy part. It's those professional skills, those EQ, emotional IQ, the ability to deal with people, the ability to communicate, the ability to present yourself in a professional manner. Domain charges our clients, remember I told you way back when it's $40 an hour? We charge our clients $200 an hour now. And up. You gotta look the part, talk the part, walk the part. Now that doesn't happen on day one, obviously. That happens way later. But we're gonna teach you how to get there. But that requires being teachable, listening to feedback, not arguing with us or fighting with us when we tell you, something might be a little bit off. And that's what we're looking for, a curiosity for this sort of technology, but a willingness to learn and a hunger to want to go after it. And obviously that's only going to start if you recognize this opportunity. So if you guys are interested, take Lauren's card. He has a stack of them over there. Work on your resumes. Send him your resume, your cover letter. If you get his attention, if we feel like there might be a fit, then we're going to move forward. This is our first entree into Middlesex. So there's a lot of you here. We don't know how many of you are going to be interested, how many of you are going to apply. If it doesn't work out in the first semester, please do not stop trying. Remember, that is called grit. That is called persistence. That is called recognizing opportunity. We have had folks at Mercer that applied the first time, did not get in, applied again, gave us a good argument for why they improved themselves or were a better fit, and they are ongoing with us now. So put yourself out there, and it starts with putting that resume out. So I guess next piece would be questions. Any questions? And the questions can be for Nia or Matt. Where's Matt? Matt's back there. Oh, maybe not. Oh, he had to step out. Yeah.
Since I'm also taking credits, so the job that I'm working right now, they allow me to have a flexible schedule and allow me to have a school accommodation. Would that be a case with this role?
Yeah, everyone in the program is in school. So everyone has a school accommodation. But that obviously has to be, it has to make sense for both sides. Meaning there needs to be at least enough time.
Yeah, if I communicated beforehand that this is my class schedule, this is the schedule I want to work on.
That's right.
Would that work out?
That's right. We try to make it all work. And a lot of it comes down to the potential that we see in you. The more potential we see, the more we'll make it work.
There are confines to that, though. So yes, 100%. We're going to make this as flexible as we can for you guys. But the reality is we're a business-to-business organization. So as such, we operate within the hours of other businesses, 8:30 to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. So that 20 to 25 hours that we're looking for should fit in that window. Like we said, if you're awesome, we'll make it work. But then, we'll have to, spring semester, we're going to have a talk about what those classes look like in terms of scheduling. Make sense? Question in the back by the books? Yep.
Do you have any interns both intensively learning IT and digital marketing at the same time before splitting off into whichever field? Or do they pick one out of it?
We don't have any right now. But I'll tell you what, if I could find somebody in IT, let's say, that had programming skills like PHP and also understood HTML and CSS and had a really good design eye.
We do have
That's
one
a
intern
unicorn.
right now that is a IT major in college and is on the digital marketing team. So really what it comes down to is we want to build your career skills, and we want to expose you to that. So absolutely you can kind of dabble and see, but ultimately it comes down to what's your highest and best use. Where are you going to be the most productive?
I was also going to say, I was going to ask, I actually took a couple digital marketing courses in, General Assembly, in New York. I went there. I took I took a week's worth of digital marketing courses. I took SEO, and I also took HTML, CSS. Do you put that on a resume? Or?
Oh yeah, if you know CSS, HTML, you definitely put that on a resume. Right up here. Yep.
I was gonna ask if we had taken non-certificate courses on websites or anything. Is that okay to put on the resume or not?
By the way, you can put, the beauty of a resume is you can put whatever you want. You can tell me you like pizza. Now I don't know if that's going to get you a job, but I do like pizza. So yeah. So anything you feel like, a resume is your way to sell yourself. And so put whatever you think might be relevant.
Real quick before we take another question, just quick show of hands. How many first years? Everybody else second and what? Okay, first years, by the way, don't be discouraged from applying. We actually look at it as more time that we get to spend with you. Should you choose to go to a 4-year program, second years, same thing. However much time we can get with you, we want. So don't be discouraged first year, second year. We encourage everyone to apply.
And also similar on that point, those of you that plan to go to your 4-year program, as you saw, we can make that work as well. Those of you that are looking for a career as soon as possible, we can make that work too.
Hello, my name is Serge. Thank you guys for coming. I want to know, could we work more than 25 hours? Or is the limit 25?
Yes, so that's actually a really good question. So yes, ultimately we want to have people full-time. But it really comes down to how quickly you develop. Meaning if you get to a point where you are doing productive work for clients, we'll have you working 80 hours. But it really depends on how quickly you get up to speed.
Once again, on the resume, can you put in software, hardware, do you have any information about it? We know the software that we're comfortable with. Can you put in the resume which software we can work on?
Absolutely.
Which hardware we can work on?
Please do. How many references do you usually look for?
one good one is more important than like 3 of your buddies. So yeah, you follow? So it really there's no rule of thumb.
No
but
mom and dad.
Yeah, no
That's
mom and
the
dad.
rule, no mom and dad.
No mom and dad. But like for example, a good professor one will probably outweigh a random person that we don't know was really your boss at the last job.
On the resume, can we put pictures?
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, be reasonable about it, but yeah, tasteful about it. Yeah, yeah.
It's for the person in the internship. I believe her name was Nia.
Yeah, yeah, right here. Yep.
It was what is kind of like the day-to-day activities that you kind of, not activities, but kind of
What are you doing today?
What do you do, Nia?
What do you do? Are you busy, first of all?
Yes, I am very busy. We're getting a new client soon, so I will be more busy in the future. So basically, I get to work depending on like the project that I have for the day or the task that I have, I will do it. So today,
And just clarification, Nia's in the digital marketing side. So.
yes. So today I worked on the email blast that's going to be going out later today. I also worked on a new collateral piece for, I believe it was another document that we needed.
The perfect consultant.
Yes,
which
the
if you get
perfect
hired, you will
consultant.
So marketing collateral meaning like brochures and things like that. And the other thing is an email blast. What was that, out of HubSpot or something like that?
Yes, out of HubSpot. So
HubSpot.
yes.
I mean, it's like we're desperate for people with HubSpot, and so we're teaching those skills here. Most, schools, it becomes difficult for them to kind of stay up to date with this technology, but you get it real world here. What else? What else do you do?
So I
Nina
created.
did a lot of stuff with websites.
Yeah, I just finished like creating a website for a client. I also created.
What does the client do?
They're an IT company in Arizona, located in Arizona. I also create like infographics and blog posts and articles. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
we're
the
gonna
main
pass
thing
it
I
on to
do.
Matt. What's a day look like for you? What kind of issues do you work with?
What do you do on a daily basis?
Usually, well, the tickets involve clients that have, let's say, Outlook issues. A lot of companies are lawyers, so they have software that pretty much they use all the time, and most of the time, I mean, not always, but it does break, so we just go in and we fix it up.
So Matt does a lot of work on the service desk, IT support all the time.
First, for applying to the digital marketing and IT support, should we do that separately, or can we say we're interested in both?
It's all going to be part of the same process. Just let us know which one you're interested in, or I think that's important for us to know.
You said if we don't get in the first time of the semester, when should we apply again for the next one?
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably have another session like this, and then after that, we would probably be open to it. Yeah.
Is it also like possible to apply like for going to summer?
Yep. So all of the interns worked over the summer, right? Yeah, worked over the summer and the breaks as well. Yeah. Sure. And depending on how much you progressed, some of that can be full time, for sure. Most folks who start with us, if they have other jobs, and actually most of them did have other jobs, they quit those other jobs to work here, and this takes the place of that, because working another job, doing this, and school, and giving us at least 20 to 25 hours, that's too much. That being said, we do have a handful of folks they still want to have other jobs on the weekends, just because we only work during business hours.
For references, are you guys looking for any type of specific classes for the teachers, or does it matter, or does that not matter?
Subject matter would be preferential, but I understand a lot of first years, you're probably still doing a lot of GE stuff. So that's fine. Really what we're looking for people who will speak to your character a bit, confirm your punctuality, basically tell us, listen, when it comes to like the basic requirements of job entry, you're good.
We're going to ask them mostly about your attitude, not what you know.
Yeah.
What you need to know, we're going to teach you. So it's mostly about things like attitude, punctuality, work ethic, communication skills. Are they awake? Are they asleep all the time?
For references, can we include like high school teachers?
presume that would be okay.
Do you count like reading books and like I learned some stuff from the books and like taught myself a little bit? Does that count as experience too or not?
If you know how to do something, let us know. Yeah, I mean, whether you learned it from a book or whether you learned it otherwise, I mean, it really doesn't matter to us. That being said, just because you read a book is not meaningful to us. Like, you got to know how to do it. Yeah. No, and that's the thing. And then but number one for us is integrity, right? Technology, we can teach you. Integrity, if we don't see that in you, we do not want to try to teach it to you. And so if you tell us you know something, be honest about it. You know, we get so much fluff and acronyms on resumes, and then the number one way to shut that interview down in a heartbeat is to tell us something that's below. We're technologists. We'll know how good you are. You're not going to pull one over on us. You know, you're not going to get interviewed by HR that doesn't know what this does. You're going to get interviewed by somebody that will smell that immediately. So just be honest with us. And we've already told you, we don't care how much you know necessarily. You just have to be hungry. You have to have the right attitude. And so start off with the right foot by telling us exactly what you know. And if you do know it, represent it. If you just were curious about it and did some research on it but don't really know it, let us know that too. But curiosity is important as well. Okay, any other questions?
When should we email the resume and the cover letter by?
In 10 minutes.
As soon as you have my email address.
Yeah, as soon as you're ready. Yeah.
Same thing?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you know what, a better answer to you would be, what is there a deadline, right? So there's no firm deadline, but I'd say definitely if you can get it to us, hiring for Middlesex in all likelihood, just based on timing, getting it in for this semester probably makes very little sense. So we will probably be hiring for people to start over winter break, or definitely by spring. So you have a little bit of time. It doesn't need to be 10 minutes, but obviously sooner rather than later is a good thing.
How soon can we expect the response to that?
Depends on how many applicants we have to some extent.
Yeah, I mean, like, my goal is to have the next class starting. When does winter break start? December 17th, I want to start class. I'm being serious. We kind of want to line this up because over winter, generally, I know some people do take winter classes, but there's more availability. So we'll be able to kind of ramp up the onboarding process.
And remember, this is like a real job. Just FYI, just like a real job, everyone's not going to always tell you why you didn't get it and all that sort of stuff. Depending on how far down the pipeline you go. Like if we interview in person, believe me, any job that interviews you in person owes you an explanation as to whether you were hired, not hired, and kind of things along those lines. Just because you sent us a resume, unfortunately, we're not going to have time to necessarily have a session. But you will know if you move forward to the interview phase. There's a question back.
Yeah, I just want to check the network whether it goes on well. I just sent the resume with letter of recommendation drawing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need to say something about the course enrollment since this is the internship, and as the professor mentioned that you can take 2 courses when you have the job with domain. However, you cannot come to us in the 5th week of the semester and say, hey, I got a position with them, I need to enroll to this class. That's not going to happen. So you need to be very on top of everything. Make sure you follow up with the timelines, and if you are going to do this, enroll to that course, and then finalize your interviews and everything.
And we're not going to babysit you and then go to the college and be like, please give them credits. You know, that you got to do.
It's being recorded at this point. You cannot say, I did not know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from a timing point of view, though, I think it'll work out in that this cohort will probably start over winter break, and so that way you'll have plenty of time, hopefully, to let them know by spring semester, right? That's the next session, or is there a winter semester?
In the winter, they can start, but we only offer certain courses. So, because the other course is run with our counselors.
So would that be in spring?
So it needs to be spring.
Okay, so you would probably start getting credits in spring, but let them know in advance.
And we need to give you, I need to remove the prereqs, all that stuff. So there's a lot of paperwork and people involved. So
get on it.
yeah.
How many people are you guys going to accept?
I mean, there's no firm number. It really depends on the kind of the pool of candidates and how solid it is. But as I said, since this is our first program with Middlesex, we kind of got to feel out Middlesex a little bit as well, and see how many we can handle. But even if we end up reaching some sort of cap, please make sure that you apply, because similar to Mercer, the classes got bigger as we went along, just because we got a more level of comfort.
How much do you expect us to know before applying for this internship at this point?
Hunger.
Hunger.
Yeah, nobody ever gets hired because they didn't know something. Essentially, people always get hired from domain or intern IT. Actually, this did happen because they were just not truthful, right? So we don't really expect you to come and just install the computers, do the SEO and stuff like that. That's our job to teach you, but again, we need you to be on time, we need you to be truthful, and we need you to just get your act together, essentially, when you're doing stuff like this.
Chris is 100% right. Now, I mean, look, you need to have some acumen at some point to get stuff. So that's why on day one, as long as you have the right attitude, Chris is right. We haven't fired anyone for not knowing something technically. We have fired people for having the wrong attitude. We have fired people for not wanting to learn when we gave them feedback and they decided that they already knew better. That's a good reason to get fired. However, as far as not having some skills on day one, you should apply. Don't let that stop you. Now, the one exception to that would be you really have no interest in tech. Just one of your aunts or uncles told you tech, there's a good career in tech, go apply. No. I mean, it's going to be fake. You probably, so we are going to ask you, why do you want this? Like, what in your background tells us that you might be a good fit for this? Why is there a hunger for technology or whatever it might be? So start getting those stories ready as to why. But not like, if you don't know something about a router or a switch, yeah, we don't expect you to know any of that stuff. It's just that hunger. So I'll give you an example. We've had folks who have come to us who have never had any interest in tech at all, like literally none at all. And we dig. Okay, so at home, what kind of internet access do you have? Like, do you play games on computers? Like, and just nothing. And we find out their first interest in tech was hearing from us that there's a job in tech. And that sometimes falls a little bit flat.
Yeah, that makes everybody miserable. It makes you guys miserable and us miserable at the end of the day. So you have to like it. You have to be interested in that, like with everything that you're doing in your life. It's just common sense. It may get you by at the beginning, especially if you're hardworking, you put your mind to it and stuff like that. It will probably could take a couple of weeks to realize that this is just a bad choice, and then we just kind of waste it.
And I'll be honest with you. I mean, if there's somebody here who legitimately never was interested in tech, but then just came here for pizza and heard something, and was like, wow, I'm into tech now. Go for it. Convince us. Go for us. Convince us. And if you're really good at arguing, we'll put you in sales.
What's the fastest that somebody has gone from being an intern to a full hire at
Yeah. So the official program is 18 months to go through that cycle. So officially, if you're still with us at 18 months, you're probably going to be a full hire. Yeah. Good? Okay. Thank you, guys. There's business cards up there, like right on the desk or something?
Yeah, they're over there.
Yeah. And if you don't get a business card for whatever reason, you can get in touch with your professors. They'll be able to send you guys to us as well. Thank you, guys.